Welcome to Seven Trumpets Prepper Channel. And guys, welcome to another edition of the Hard Truth Show. And I apologize for leaving the banner up too long today. Didn't get that off there in time before we popped over to the show. To those that are new to the channel, and this is the first time joining us on a live stream, if you will follow the scriptural biblical calendar, you will note that on Sabbaths and new moons is when I usually jump on here. At random times anymore. I've got a little girl and another one on the way, so it's hard taking care of kids and then doing live streams in between. So I always fit this in the schedule the best I can anymore. But the scriptural calendar app, if you want to download it's free on Android or Apple devices on World's Last Chance calendar app. It's totally free, and I encourage you to get it. Guys, if you haven't checked out my content over on Odyssey, make sure to do so. Because that's where all my all-time Hall of Fame stuff is that YouTube decides to delete, even though I haven't cursed, done anything inappropriate, adult content, or anything like that. It's just I don't support the agenda of the New World Order, so that stuff gets deleted. So, real quickly, let me pop in the comments. Hey, much love to everybody. Shalom. Good morning, everybody. Yes, it is early start on the show today. Guys, if you have not, make sure to like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for all notifications. I'm really going to try to make sure that a lot more people get the notifications for content this year. So please do so on that. And guys, if you want to help financially support this ministry, you can do so via the links in the video description below. Multiple ways to do so, all the way from PayPal to crypto, you name it. It is appreciated, but likes are free, doesn't cost a thing, and please hit the like button so that other people, this will help push it up in the algorithm to get it out to other people. Thanks so much, Robin. Much love to you. Yeah, that makes 3 for me now. I've got a son and 2 daughters. So very excited about that. I wish I had 17 more of them. I tell people all the time I'd love to have 20 kids. I just love children, and it thrills me to know that after I'm gone, you know, my family's legacy will carry on. So anyway, guys, real quickly, just some things I want to hit you with the Carfax here real quick. Is that if you have not been following lately, the past 4 streams before this talked about the so-called aliens or the fallen angels of old. I covered the understanding spiritual warfare and how to combat that in the last days. I thought that was a pretty good stream. I really loved this stream. I cannot believe that YouTube has not flagged this video with the flat earth Wikipedia thing underneath it. I was able to monetize it. I couldn't believe it. I about fell out of my chair. Like it slipped through the cracks, but I made sure to keep flat earth on the lowdown as far as like in the algorithm thing. So it worked. I made it through. And then there was the recap I done about the Greg Locke and Dean Odell flat earth debate. And that was done with Brother Tim Greer, and I thought that was a really good discussion. And hey, I swear this is funny right here. Whoever made this meme, I lost the flat earth debate, so I figured I'd just delete the video and act like it never happened. And then lastly, today, we're going to talk about things that will not be missed in the kingdom of heaven. And I really hope that as this is a serious conversation, that it is an uplifting conversation. And not only that, that it is prophetic, because a lot of things about the new kingdom, it's described in the book of Revelation. So it's going to be like a combo today, uplifting, and we're going to stay in biblical prophecy. Because guys, the reason I call this a show is because it gives me the opportunity to free range discuss things, because I feel like whenever somebody goes in like sharing mode or teaching mode or even pastoral mode, that if you just chop it up and have conversations with people and keep it light at times and discussions, that all of a sudden it's like you're out of line. So I leave this as a show that where I can discuss politics and relationships and prophecy and prepping and just a plethora of things that I want to discuss. You know, it's like a Joe Rogan style podcast kind of thing, but from a scriptural perspective. And so that's kind of how I approach this anymore. All right, so let me get over in the comments, get that fired back up so I can see this as we go through it, and let's get started right away. Now, I'm going to get my notes right here on my phone, and so I can check this off as we go. But I think now this is in no particular order. I just started here because I thought it was one of the most paramount ones. is that death will not be missed in the new kingdom. I drive by in the town I live in, and as you're coming into town, the first thing you see is a cemetery. And it's huge. It really is. It's like, I think most of the generations for us in this town have been buried in that a big chunk of them in that cemetery. And death is something that will just absolutely not be missed. I know by, and when I speak as in generalizations of other people's thought process and my own, is that I know it will not be missed because I think about my mortality almost every day. I don't think there's a day in my life it hasn't went by. I don't want to die in an unrighteous state. I prefer not to die. I don't want to miss a minute of this. I want to see every single last biblical prophetic thing take place. And I want to be alive to be a cancer to all the scoffers that's against the kingdom. I want to be like, oh, that's in the book. Oh, that's in the book. I want to be here to see it go down. And so, that is imperative to me that I can fight that as much as possible. I want to make sure to be around to see it, like I said. And that is one thing that will absolutely not be missed. And scripture is very plain about this. And Elohim shall wipe away all the tears from their eyes, and there shall be no more death, neither sorrow nor crying, neither shall there be any more pain, for the former things are passed away. All praise be unto you, Mosiah, for that. All praises. Because I don't want no part up in that at all. All right. Now, some of these piggyback on each other, guys, so just bear with me. All right. So the next point I'd like to make is that there'll be no more separation, because due to the world we live in now, whether it be jobs take people away, death and sickness take people away, divorces, people put in prison, I can't even begin to probably list all the stuff. There will not have to be a separation anymore later down the road, and everyone will be able to be together in the new kingdom that is counted worthy to life everlasting. That is such a gift. That is such a gift. And we will not have to deal with that drama no more, because that will be off the table. That will be an issue that no one has to deal with anymore, and a realization that it's forever peace. And that's something we can't grasp right now in the world we live in, because there just really is no peace. They say there's no rest for the wicked, but right now they make sure there's no rest for the righteous. You can bank on that. All right. Now, scripture says, 1 Corinthians 15, and I believe it's 52. Yeah, 52, is that for the trumpet will sound, the dead will be raised imperishable, and will be changed. Guys, that is massive, because whenever that time comes, like I was saying about in the scripture earlier, is to piggyback this to one more thing, because these three things are intertwined, is that we will not have to worry about perishing anymore. Sickness, disease, separation, death. I mean, these things are officially off the table. And I'm going to end this presentation later today as a circle back on this with one last slide, because via that one thing, death entered into this world too, and it will no longer be no more. And so, open closure of that today, I can circle back to this. But these things, I have lost so many friends and family and been separated from them by sickness and then by death. And I won't have to ever think upon that no more whenever the time comes, because these things will perish with this world and won't be part of the next age to come. And it's hard to actually fathom these things, because it's actually a possible reality. And absolutely, brother, that is facts right there. Sin will be taken out by the roots. And I pray that whatever is in me that's sinful, go ahead and just be removed, so that I can start living in the spirit of that new world. All right. Now, the next up is the New World Order and Satan's kingdom. This show is about to come swiftly to an end and get chopped off at its knees. I cannot figure this out. And I was having a conversation with Brother Russell the other day, fellow believer, and me and him was having this conversation talking about that. Why in the world, if you're wanting to bring the New World Order about, make it so rough on people? Like, sell them a dream, baby. Like, let me take and put me up here for just a second. I want to sell you. I want to sell you a dream. All right. If I was Satan's kingdom, if I was operating in the spirit of Hashatan, I would want to sell you such joy, peace, happiness, and such a facade that you would come running to me and take it. You know, in 2019, when everybody started handing out the stabby jabbies, you know, they sold everybody fear mongering and, oh my goodness, it's the end of the world, which welcome to the end. It is the end of the world. But you know, like they sold all this craziness. Shabbat Shalom, much love to everybody coming in the comments, Sister Sandy and everybody else. And it just, to me, I don't understand. It's like there's a separate dynamic at play that I can't maybe see because I'm not operating in the worldly spirit. But I just don't get it that if I was going to push a new world order on everybody, I'd want all this unification and love and just such a parallel of what actually the scripture says that you'd actually want to jump on it because you think it was a scripture. And I understand that, you know, the Freemasons and the Jesuits and the Illuminati and all these wicked deep state people, that they operate in that spirit of order out of chaos. I understand the playbook. Okay. I understand where these people are coming from because I mean, they've made it very crystal clear to everybody what's in their mind. But long and short of it, I just don't get it. And this is something I guess I'll have to just get explained to me in the new kingdom because I have literally tried to logically, sound mind, reason this out, and I cannot. It's why if you're wanting to give everyone a new world order, you give everyone such a distorted, horrible, hateful future. Give everybody what they want so that they'll bend the knee to you. You know, because I mean, 2019 turned me into a monster. I mean, I think that changed me. Where it changed some people in their DNA, you know, like all that stuff that went on, it changed me in a capacity in a way that I am very much anti government now. I am very much anti New World Order. More now than I ever was before. I am anti going to the doctor. I can just go down this list of anti that I've become because of that time where it made everybody else want to be in the knee. It made me even more rebellious to the New World Order. All right. So let me put this back up here for a second. There we go. And so, you know, what is that song, that 70s song, you know, got Star Spangled Eyes. You know, we ever since 2019, most people got New World Ordered eyes. And Luke just ain't on about that noise. And I'm not going to have no part in that. So to you that want to be in the knee of the New World Order, please just step on up out of my way if you could be so kind to do so. And the scripture says, and the kings of the earth, and the great men, and the rich men, and the chief captains, and the mighty men, and every bondman, and every free man hid themselves in the dens, and in the rocks of the mountains, and said to the mountains and rocks, fall on us and hide us from the face of him that sitteth on the throne and from the wrath of the Lamb. I tell you what, a shalom, and everybody coming in the comments, continue to come in, is that there is a time coming when Messiah will come. And I don't know how I won't be fearful of that because it's such an monumentous moment. You know, like, I mean, like, I don't know how to put this, is that I am fearful to meet the master now, even as a believer, even as confessing my sin, because, well, for a couple reasons. One, I've willfully sinned after the knowledge of the truth. And Father, please forgive me for that. I know I'm going to pay for it, but I pray I pay for it now so that I don't pay for it in the judgment. And, you know, there is, and if grace can be sufficient on that, just don't let me pay for it at all and just step away from my sin and have grace. Don't do it no more. But when you look at the big picture here, is that it's going to be exciting, like, but nervous. You know, like when you get, I equate it to a marriage. I knew I was getting married to my wife, but I was nervous that day. And that, you know, the day of that I was married, there was a lot of nervousness, and the moment was upon us. And it's that I don't know the way that properly put together what I'm trying to say is, but this is going to be such a monumentous moment that I believe even believers will be in some capacity stunned, excited, nervous, scared at the same time, but with joy in their hearts. I don't know how to put this, but it's going to be a different vibe than the people of the world. You can bank on that, because here's the deal. I do not have control if the master is going to let me in the kingdom or not. I confess my sins. I believe on Messiah. I'm trying to keep the commandments best of my ability, and I believe. But the thing is even with all that said, is that it is ultimately up to the master to let me in. And so, these rest of these worldly people, I got a new thing. They got a big thing coming for them, and the new world order is going to crumble down too. And I should have put that picture in right after this too, of the prophecy in Daniel about the great image being smote with the rock cut out, not with hands. And I should have put that in there next, because we are right there at the feet, where that the iron will not mingle with the clay. All right. Now, the next thing to mark off on my checklist is, and some interesting topic that we will definitely re-engage later, is the sea, the great ocean of the world. Or 75%, I think they say, of the world, or 75, 76% of the world's covered in water. And that's huge. That is vast. I've crossed the ocean many times, and it's very, very scary to me. I used to love the ocean. I could have almost, heck, when I was trying to sign up for the Marines years ago, when I was leaving out of high school, and then went to sign for the Air Force instead, maybe do that because of getting the job at McGee-Tyson Airport after the military, is that, the Navy was kind of on my radar, because I was just like, the opportunity to travel. Like, not only serve my country, but I'd have an adventure time. Because Luke always loves adventure time, doing off-grid construction for people. I got a lot of adventure time across the world doing that. But the water, now, as I'm older, even when I go to the beach at the ocean, I barely dip my toes in it, and I'll just sit barely in the foam and the lower, like 5-6 inches of water, because I'm terrified of it. All the creatures in the ocean anymore, all these shark movies, all this crazy stuff, it just freaks me out. And I'm not a great swimmer. I can swim, I'm just not a great swimmer. I used to couldn't swim, then learned, and now I'm just not that great a swimmer. And I'm sure if I tried, I could do a lot better, but it's just not an important thing to me. And the marine kingdom of Satan, you got to understand, folks, that if you read Yasher, Hanok, Genesis, you look at this stuff in depth, is that whenever you look at this in depth, that many of the spirits that were separated from the bodies of the Nephilim, the giants, all that stuff, were cast into the great deep. Right. They died in the flood, but their spirits are still up on the earth. So you got what is they call them, incubus, succubuses, things like that. You see these things like about mermaids and stuff like that. The marine kingdom of Satan is a serious topic. I mean, there is people that I'd say that people would describe as scholars that have covered this in great detail. It's actually something in the almost, I think, 12 years of ministry I've done on this channel, and 15 years of walking my very best I can in the way, is that this is a conversation that I have not discussed at depth, and I would very much like to in the year ahead. And I'll tell you, like, this is a serious thing, because Satan's kingdom is far reaching. There are spirits in the ocean, there's spirits upon the land, there's spirits in the air. Like, there is a war zone around us that you just don't see. And one thing I will not miss in the new kingdom is the ocean, because it is very clear to me that even when Messiah cast the demons into the swine, and they asked to be cast in the swine, and what's the next thing they done? They literally ran off into the sea. That, like transportation back to where we need to go. Like, there is a lot of depth to this. If you look into this scripturally, if you look into this from the world side of things, if you look at, just see the stuff people post on TikTok nowadays. There was a guy talking about, he was at the restaurant or whatever, and out there in the water, people said, don't go out in that water, because there's, mermaid people out there and stuff. And the guy went out there, and sure enough, he seen one too. And there was a video thing about it. And I know that we live in a time of CGI, fakery, and all this stuff, but this stuff has been discussed for a long, long, long time. There is this stuff on maps from many, many, many generations ago. And it, I don't want to go left field today because this is not the topic of today. But the reason I won't miss this in the new kingdom is because this is a spiritual playground right now for Satan's spirits that serve him. And not only that, it's just a scary place. And in the new kingdom, we will not be separated from each other in vast oceans. I don't mind lakes and streams and rivers and all that stuff, but we won't have to worry about this no more. And that will be a wondrous thing. Now, the next thing I want to discuss on this, one last thing on that, cover the scripture that covers that, is, and I saw a new heaven and a new earth, for the first heaven and the first earth were passed away, and there was no more sea. So now just imagine a world so vast that with no sea, there is space, that the amount of space for all the human beings that could be in that place and never see each other hardly would be wild, because you could literally place, I forget what they said, you could place the whole population of the world. There was in one space, I think they said you could place the whole population of the world, and they could have X amount of space. And then you think about all the generations people that's died before us, and then you think about how few is going to actually be counted to life everlasting, and then expand that terrarium area, that terrain under the firmament dome, by 3/4 larger. That's going to be a huge space to play in. Just saying. All right, now the next point, and I think is a monumental point to cover, is that I will be so thrilled there will be no more racism in the new kingdom. There won't be no white man, black man, Latino, Hispanic, non-Hispanic. Let me go down the checklist on the government document things. Well, they say Native American, Alaskan Native, Asian, man, am I missing anybody? Oh, I don't know. And then there won't be no gender confusion, because we won't have to deal with that nonsense that's going on right now. And another problem that I really, really take with this is that as Hebrew Israelites are waking up in the last days, the next message that's preached, seems like, is that the nations cannot be saved. Many of them immediately go to this tune that, I hate the white man. I also hate the nations. Nobody's getting in but Israel. Blah, 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 blah. That is what I would say a half truth. And this is the issue, is because if you decide to serve Messiah, keep the commandments, have faith in the Most High Yah, serve the Most High Yah, have faith in Messiah, keep the commandments, and join yourself to the Father to keep and do his will. Then if you look in ancient times, when in the Torah, when people joined themselves to the house of Israel, they were supposed to have a place amongst them in Israel, right? You could see that in the text. Furthermore, and we'll get in scripture in a minute, you see how in Revelation there's multitudes, nations, tongues, and all this stuff. But I'm so dead dog sick and tired of this, because another amazing thing to me, especially from depth study on this, is I seen recently where it was, I'm sure he was a Hebrew, and he had a wife that was of another color, and then the child was lightened down. And then that child, even though I'll say it was born a Hebrew, because the melanin, then that one had a wife, and by the time that second one had a child, you couldn't even tell that it was a Hebrew anymore. Even though by blood, it's a Hebrew, it's just the melanin was gone. And so, I look back at this and I'm like, how hateful that is when, like, when Ezra and Nehemiah was rebuilding the temple, rebuilding Jerusalem, is that if people's names wasn't found among the roster, they weren't even allowed to be in. And so if we went back and done things by the book back in the day, do it by Torah, there is people that may look the part, may talk the part, may walk the part, but because your name weren't found in the book, you wouldn't even be allowed to be part of the party right now either. So there's this massive hypocrisy that is abounding in these last days right now. And instead of standing on a street corner telling me how that I need to kneel down and kiss your boot because I'm a Gentile and blah, 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 and you ain't even got your seat tied on, how about instead we all encompassing, Gentile and Hebrew, that wants to serve Most High and cleave to him, just pick up the scripts, read them, love your neighbor, do right by your neighbor, Be the witness that Yahushua would want you to be, Yahushua, however you want to say it, Yahushua, Yahushua, and be that servant and be that lighthouse, especially if you're Hebrew Israelite on the sound of my voice. Be that lighthouse of nations, because the Most High God did not speak to my people. Okay, He spoke to your people. So now that you know the truth, be the light that Yahushua would want you to be. All right. And racism can die with this generation and with this age. And I'll be so thrilled when it does, because I don't hate anybody. And I tell you, many will come from east and west and will sit at table with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob in the kingdom of heaven. That's the book of Matthew. And then furthermore, therefore go and make disciples of all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father, the Son, and the set apart Ruach HaKodesh, and teaching them to obey everything I commanded you. And surely I am with you always to the very end of the age. Folks, I don't care if I'm a sovereign or a servant in the new kingdom. I will be thrilled to be there. I have life eternal at that point. Who would not be thrilled to be a servant? Yeah, and JD, that's an excellent point. That goes for not only Hebrew Israelites, but I believe, people of the nation that stand on the street corners too. Some of them, I know many people are trying to do the right thing, but we have to be mindful and careful of everyone. That's myself included, folks. If I ain't telling y'all straight, don't believe a word I say. And furthermore, don't always take what I have to say for straight anyway. Go double check it yourself. And I want to apologize also, is that when I copied this verse earlier on the screen cap, I did not pay attention. That was the NIV. I apologize for that, because I have no interest in using the NIV because of certain scriptures, omitations, and stuff like that. And I do apologize for that. I thought that was the KJV when I copied that on the slides earlier, and that was an NIV that I copied off the Google, and I apologize for that. All right. And the next scripture, after this, I looked and saw a multitude large to count from every nation and tribe and people and tongue. Now, that's important to understand, because that has been very clarified there, that this is not just Hebrew Israelites being brought out of every nation. Okay. This is it is very clear clarification from Yohanan, the servant of the Most High, that right there, that there is people out of every nation, people out of every tribe, out of every people, every people. That's, Goyim, the peoples. When we talk about nations, people, you look at Goyim, you look at Gentiles, you look at stuff like that. That literally, we're breaking this down so deep here that every nation, tribe, people, and tongue, you see people standing before the throne and before the Lamb. They were wearing white robes and holding palms and branches in their hands. So you see Israel say 144,000 there, and then you see a multitude after that. And let's share this. It's a super chat. Brother Hudson says, I'm a Hebrew Israelite, brother from Virginia, one of the first places that gathered slaves, and I've been watching you for almost 7 years, Brother Luke, and I absolutely know that grace is given to all. Much love to you, brother. I appreciate you and the donation. I hope I can break bread with you, with Brother Abraham at the table one day in a new kingdom, and I appreciate your support of the channel over the years too. I look forward to the house of Israel being gathered back in its place, because everything will be put back in order. And I'll praise Most High for that. All right. So the next thing, let me mark that off right there. The next thing that I want to point out is bad memories and experiences will be gone. There was a movie with Keanu Reeves. Somebody told me to watch it sometime back, and it was Replicants. And one of the things they've done is they went in their neural network. And I know this is all science fiction, and I know we probably shouldn't be watching worldly movies. There's a lot of messages and stuff you can break down from some of these things. But anyway, I checked this out, and they went in and they were deleting things out of their neural memory and stuff like that. And one thing I'll be thrilled is in the new kingdom is a lot of the toxic memories in this world. I know these experiences helped us mold us, build us to who we are today. They're stepping stones. But with that said, with the conclusion of all that, and guys, I want to pedal back for a second. I apologize. One quick thing is that, John 3:16, if you cannot apply John 3:16 also to the salvation of the entire human race, and being that we all came from Adam and Eve, all right, and we furthermore that breakdown from Noah to Shem, Ham, and Japheth, and you further compartmentalize all this down, and then you also see in Exodus, Leviticus, Deuteronomy, all that is, and Numbers, the those that could enter into the tabernacle from the assemblies and the generations out, then they could be part of it, etc. I just don't know how far a man has to go to make that case, and that's sad. And I just wanted to emphasize that because that was one note left in my mind that I didn't cover on that. But these memories, it will be so good that we won't have to remember the bad memories and experiences of the past to backpedal on the very beginning. The former things are passed away. You know what we've read in scripture in the beginning. That is off the table, my peeps. That is off the table. And you won't have to worry about that toxicity anymore. All these narcissistic, sociopathic, psychopathic, wicked, godless bunch of human waste of space people acting that we have to deal with in this life. You won't have to remember them either. All right. And I know I am savage about some of the things I say, and I know I approach things in a way that a teacher, a servant, a pastor probably would be considered radical. And I'm okay with that because there's nothing I've never said on here live. Keep in mind, I do these live all the time anymore. There's nothing I don't think I've ever said that I'd be like, dang, I wish I wouldn't have said that. This is how I feel. And furthermore, I'm not going to give you all some fake persona because the Most High knows exactly how I think, operate. And I would say I am a high operating sociopath when I need to be. And so I know why I do what I do, and it is with intent. And everything I do is with intent anymore to further the kingdom. And anything I can do to tear this current world down and build up the kingdom of y'all, I'm all on board for that too. Sign me up any day. I don't want nobody to be confused on whose side I stand on. Now, shut that rant up there and move to the next thing. Is one thing Brother Luke's not gonna miss is these pagan, wicked, godless holidays, and especially this freaking one coming up. Matter of fact, y'all hold the brakes for just a second here. I'm gonna pull you one up, baby. I got this one in another slide coming up in a minute, but I want you to look at it in depth. If you look at slide section, let me see on this. This is the Fastes Antiotes Maioris calendar, Roman Republic calendar back in the day, 8-day lunisolar pagan calendar. Okay, and you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, 12th month, and of course there's 13th month for Intercalary and stuff like that, excuse me. And but if you look, I don't want to say it, but to the far right, second column back to the left down, you will see SATVRN. And under that is the festival. All right, so that is the deity they're worshiping and the festival. And if you Google SATURN AILIA, that is the pagan freaking wicked festival that is going on right now. Everybody's all about. And that holiday and the bunny holiday, which is pagan deity, fertility deity worship, and all this garbage, all this crap will die with this age, and I cannot wait. I mean, with great anticipation. I hate this holiday. Like everybody's like Mary Seamus, and I just want to vomit. I'm like, okay, so you're happy about the fact that Messiah is being killed all over again each time a mass takes place in a Roman pagan church. So that's what you're telling me, to be merry about that. And then if we really look at the holiday, you know, people that used to be, that's carolers, used to be actually prostitutes going door to door. The balls hung on trees used to be severed heads. The candles were waxed from infant babies sacrificed, so the time would be reset. And so that's being burned on the tree. The tree is a symbol of male phallus. The wreath is a symbol of female's reproductive organ. I mean, do y'all want to go? Now, Brother Luke's got a PhD in this. All right, I can give you my thesis on this real easy. I mean, I have been down the road on these holidays. You ain't going to BS me no more on this. All right, Father, y'all, please forgive me. But I furthermore, forgive me for even participating in years past. You know, I just really, I really just don't even want to stay on this because I get hot and animated about this. I think pagan holidays and the jab is two things that still I have got to find in my spirit how to contain myself, because I get unhinged when I discuss this. And I am so thrilled that when we go into the new kingdom, this garbage won't be no more. And instead, you'll have peace. You'll have the Passover and the days of unleavened bread and feast of first fruits, feast of weeks, and trumpets and Day of Atonement and tabernacles, festival of booths. You will have these things to celebrate instead. And don't you worry, if you make it in a new kingdom and you're in the sound of my voice and you're one of these Christian people high and mighty, and you haven't really gotten back to the roots, keeping the commandments and keeping the Torah and all this stuff, and you somehow ease in the gate, let me just help you understand something real quick, brother. You're going to keep that Sabbath. You're going to keep the right Sabbath, and you're going to keep the festivals right. You ain't going to be doing these pagan holidays no more and calling it righteous. Just welcome to the new age, the real new age, because from one new moon to another and from one Sabbath to another, all mankind will come to worship before me, says Yahuwah. And that's Isaiah 66:23. And let me just put in clarification here. They will be one calendar. They will be one new moon. Because now some of these brothers and sisters out here, they all down for keeping the festivals, but they still go to church on SAT day. They still go to assembly, fellowship, whatever you want to call it, on SAT day. But they'll keep the calendar over here. Oh, and they don't honor the new moon. That's off the table. They don't do that. And then they look down on us brothers and sisters that keep the new moon, count to Sabbath from the new moon, and keep the festivals from new moon. So all that garbage drama, that's going to be put to bed too. Messiah's going to rule with that wrought iron, and that's going to be broke off too. So I will not miss this garbage and being made to look like the black sheep. That's going to be over with too. Now, these pagan wicked calendars, while we're on speaking on this, I covered this, but I want to point this out and make my case to people that everybody says, well, the Sabbath's, just 7, 7, 7, 7. And then of course people's like, well, we'll do the LORD's day, which is SUN day, right? Many people do. Well, you do you, boo. But just remember that Luke warned you that both of these are incorrect, because if you look at the pagan priest calendar of Imperial Rome, right? It was 8-day weeks. The 8th day was a market day. And then, of course, it was lunisolar. And then if we go knee deep on this, then the next reiteration of this, you have the planetary week, and then the in the stick calendar transforming into the planetary week. And you can see here that SAT day used to be the first day of the week, and the SUN deity was the last day of the week. And then SUN day worship got prominence, and so it got moved to the first day of the week, and SAT day got the boot. And then whenever you go further along, you see here where the 10 days were messed up from the Julian to the Gregorian. And when you really nail it down, it's really simple economics on the calendar, is that the new moon, you arrive at the new moon and you keep new moon day. And then you count 6 working days and a Sabbath, and 6 working days and a Sabbath, and 6 working days and a Sabbath. And then some people keep the 30th day as they'll say, an intercalary day or whatever. But really, when you look at it, Jonathan and David was in the field. You see that they were keeping the 2 new moon day that we've discussed. I think me, Brother Joel, and Brother Keen's discussed this before. And that's a conversation that people ain't ready to have either. But anyway, when you look at the new moons, the Sabbaths, etc., you are not going to have this garbage anymore. It's over with. And so you best get ready to start dealing with the Father's appointed times, because this is going to be your reality in the new kingdom. And it's better to learn it now than to have to learn it later. Now, this one here, I can't wait till she's gone, baby, is the globe Earth. Oh, the scoffers and the haters that hate on those that have stepped away from NASA's little fake world and entered into the truth of what the scriptural word describes, that we under a flat earth, under a firmament dome. Yeah, that's right, brother. Get them. Ooh, yeah, that nasty globe. But the flat earth under a firmament dome, waters above, waters below, that hangs on nothing, that is immovable. And here's what's going to happen. It's real simple, is that the scripture says the sky receded like a scroll being rolled up, and every mountain and island was moved from its place. Revelation 6:14. When that day happens, and that day will come, brothers and sisters, is when that day happens, you want to talk about some people losing their ever-loving mind. Man, they're going to flip out, is because it is going to be a trip whenever they see that this is flat, geostationary, and not moved. It's going to be a wild one. And I dread it for them, because to me, it is going to be, the minute that sky dome gets cracked open, it is going to be validation like you ain't never had before. You're going to get it in that day. And you're going to have peace in your heart too, because just as sure as that's in scripture, and just like atheists are coming, people's like, I don't care it's a globe or flat, blah 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 blah, it ain't doing nothing for me. Well, guess what, baby? It has changed a ton of atheist people to the truth. People has come over to here on my stuff and has seen it, and went, and it's helped change their life. There's people that gave their testimony on multiple people's channels that are preaching the flat earth truth, and that brought atheists to the word of Yah. So don't tell me it don't matter, okay? And listen, I don't really care what you think. That's the great thing about, see, I have this mentality, and especially from being a Sigma male mindset, is that I don't need someone else's validation for me to accept the Carfax. Okay. And I've done a content about the flat earth multiple times here lately, especially even on live stream. And so the thing is, actually, yeah, here's my mouse pad I'm using today. Yep. And so long and short of it, we are going to finally have an understanding fully, I believe, with no doubt about it, what the world's true nature looks like in the especially in the new kingdom, because we won't have the people in power in the new world order and Satan's kingdom keeping us locked down in this terrarium. We're going to know what's up. We're going to know the boundaries of this world. We're going to know peace, and we're going to have freedom to traverse and come and go as you want. It's going to be a different show, folks. And I'm excited to see what that looks like on the back end of things. But in the meantime, y'all gonna have to deal with this right here. This is the garbage that we're being spewed, and this is the people. This is in power. This is what they're this is the people in power telling you what to do right here. All right, and then of course also, if you're going to church, you're getting the circus act, right? Because that's actually what that word ends up meaning whenever you look into that. And don't forget now, these so-called spaceships and satellites and everything in space. Now, listen, you only keep them balloons up there for so long. Keep in mind they've been shooting them down here lately and everything too. So don't forget about that. Now, y'all got to keep this narrative up. Y'all slipping. Y'all are slipping, and you got to get better at this. Because when I was a kid, y'all sold NASA like it was a Lamborghini. And y'all like selling me, the globe now like it's a darn Toyota. Like, you got to do better. All right, I'm telling you, as a consumer of truth, if you're trying to sell me lies, you're no longer selling me a beautiful car. You're selling me like some beat up yo-yo. All right, so do better. All right. Let's see right here what we got. It's all made on the storm. Gave us the sun and moon for days, and here's the sun for seasons and the moon for days. Yeah, and can you imagine? Like there is in China, there is the story about the long night, and then you've got in the Middle East, you've got the long day recorded in scripture when the sun and moon stood still. If we were on a globe spinning at 1,000 miles an hour, when that stopped, everything would have been flung off of it. Facts. Okay. All right, moving on to our next thing. Oh yeah. This is another one. For everyone to see Messiah when he returns, it's going to be on a flat geostationary plane, because it says, behold, he is coming with the clouds, and every eye will see him, even those who pierced him, and all the tribes of earth will mourn because of him. So shall it be. That's Revelation 1. All right. Now, the next thing I will not miss is y'all waste of space, hateful acting people that disrespect the master, disrespect the commandments, disrespect his servants. I ain't gonna be missing y'all. It's called scoffers. And in the last time there will be scoffers following their ungodly passions. 1 Peter 3:15. And is it not, somebody correct me, is it not in the book of Timothy that they'll have itching ears and that they will not listen in the last days? Also, I believe that's the one out of Timothy. I can't quote it exact off the top of my head at the moment, but we have definitely approached this threshold where that we are literally watching a prophecy that's over 2 millennia old about the Euphrates River. And it's drying up now. Today. And literally people are like, I don't believe, they're saying they don't believe the Bible. They don't believe scripture. And I'm like, bro, have you lost your mind? I'm like, literally, you are in the generation watching prophecy be fulfilled. I cannot believe that 12 years. I'm going to pop on the screen with you in a second, for a second. I want to make a statement here. Is that I can't believe that when I started this channel about preparing for last days, 7 trumpets of Revelation, that and the return of the kingdom of Yah, that I thought it's probably going, this is imminent, but it is going to be a while before the master comes back, but I need to be preparing. I thought, man, I'd hopefully have a couple decades to get this together. 2 Timothy 4:3. Thank you, brother. Thank you. Shout out to you for that. I appreciate you guys. I'm going to do everything I can, and I'm glad you enjoyed the teaching today. Is that whenever I started this, I had no earthly idea that I would literally be seeing the days of Noah where people's DNA is being damaged, and mixed, like it was in Noah's day. As of the days of Noah, so shall come Son of Man be. I didn't know that I was going to see the stabby jabby and all this start going on. I didn't see that the River Euphrates bathtub plug got pulled and that it was going to happen that fast. I mean, and I can keep just going on about stuff, but I'm like, man, we're literally seeing this right now. I mean, you got to be blind not to see this. Literally blind. And it's amazing. It's awesome, but it's terrifying at the same time. Like I said, I'm excited, absolutely, but I'm terrified because this is going to be the most tumultuous time that has ever taken place in the history of humanity, right? And you look at this, and this is a prophetic thing being fulfilled and before our very eyes too, is that you are seeing the closing pages of the history of humanity in this age before the new kingdom, before the kingdom of Yah, for this government gets changed from Hashatan to the Most High Yah permanently. Everybody's had their opportunity to see the two kingdoms running. And so you are going to literally see this going on up to the very end. And that's literally what we're seeing right now. Okay. And the last point I want to make is that, let me mark off my checklist here on my phone, is the last point I want to make is temptation of sin. What began in the garden shall not be again. This is the end of the road. And, I just cannot for the life of me begin to process that I don't have to wake up anymore and think, oh, think that sinful thought, or there was a beautiful woman. Don't be thinking that, Luke. Oh, greed, mischievousness, maliceness toward my brother or sister. Like all this garbage will not be. Can you just imagine your DNA, you going through and just and shooting all this mess out of your DNA code so that you don't think about, you're not damaged anymore. You're not defective. You're pure. You're clean. You think right. That is a beautiful thing. And what began in the garden and started this will end with this being not the problem anymore. All praise Mosiah for that. And going off subject just for a second, said I agree about the Hebrew Israelites. That's why I don't join any camps. I just do my best to follow sound teaching with grace, love, and righteousness. Absolutely. And guys, that's why I think I'm on the outs with a lot of people in the last days, because I have pointed these problems out. I pointed these doctrinal. Somebody shared a meme the other day. That was all the presentation on that part, guys. I'm just going to talk up and chop with you for a second. I seen this meme the other day. It said, "Fight for the kingdom like you fight for polygyny." Now, Luke ain't opposed to a man have multiple wives. That's totally scriptural. Furthermore, definitely have plenty of heirs, and that's a good thing. I'm totally for too. Is that, however, Scripture warns against having. I think it's in Baruch, maybe. I think it's in Baruch, and forgive me if I misquote this, but it warns against that. It's better to have one righteous child, pretty much, than to have 100. I'm just summarizing it. It's better to have one righteous child than to have a ton that were bad and then go to the fire, right? So having a ton of kids ain't always the best thing, too. They don't some turn out right. But when it comes to the Hebrew Israelite thing, and when it comes to the flat Earth, and when it comes to the Sabbath, there is so many ministries that I have connected with over years and have drifted apart from, and people that I've connected with over years and drifted apart from, and projects that I've started with over the years and drifted away from, because either the flat earth, the Sabbath, or the true Hebrews, it was the disconnect. And then analyzing those at depth was a disconnect. And that's okay. But that is the problem we have currently, is that we are at critical mass where that there's no more like the Dean Odell and the Greg Locke thing that went down with the flat earth debate, which I'm thrilled it happened, because tons of people are starting to research flat earth now, despite them acting out and all the stuff that's going on. Is that when you consider upon that matter, if you look at it and analyze it, the hatred and intensity toward the word by people that say they're representing the word, is that how on earth, like I just, there's this huge disconnect in people's mind. And I'm like, how do we have the Battle of Jericho and you fight for 7 days and you don't take a Sabbath in any of that? But then we look at the book of Maccabees and they were literally being killed because they wouldn't war on Sabbath. Do you not see a disconnect here? And then we find out that actually Sabbath was the following day after the Battle of Jericho, because New Moon Day started it, then there were 6 work days, and then the next was Sabbath. But nobody wants to talk about this. But the 88th chapter of Yasher breaks that down. And so we just have all these serious issues that, like, I don't get it. I really, honestly don't get it. And in humility, I like, if I look at it and I see, okay, that's the truth, then I accept it. I just don't see why we can't get from A to B. Why we can't get from A to B. Because Brother Troy Miller, Brother Joel, Brother Akeen, myself, we've discussed this at great length over multiple times over the years about Father's calendar, the new moons, things like that. But that's a conversation people don't want to have. And guys, I'm going to get in the comments just a second. I see people's donating, and there's a lot of comments. I'm going to scroll back up and catch up in a minute. But I just want to get this rant out. Is that I challenge any pastor out there. Hit me up, bro. Let's talk about flat earth. Let's talk about the Father's appointed times. And let's talk about who the true Hebrew Israelites is. Because I don't care, unlike that debate that just went down, I'm going to show up with no intention of winning. All I want to do is take my blender and just stir the pot, not to cause trouble and strife in the body of Messiah, but to send a sword, just like Messiah said. He comes to send a sword because I want to cut off everybody that will actually go down the right path. I want to give them the fuel for the fire so that they can go down the path and find out the rest of the truth, because they are being hidden from. And just like with that debate that went down, a lot of people perked up their ears like, wait a minute, what's going on? And then you see people was short on church service the next day at Pastor Locke's service, because I guarantee you some of them woke up and was like, you know what? It is right. I'm a head out. I'm going to take my ball and walk. And see, if people could see the truth about the true Hebrews, people see the truth about the flat earth, just like these atheists that's coming to the truth. Praise y'all for that. If people could see the truth about the Father's calendar, they would leave out of all these churches, out of all these camps, out of all these so-called fellowships. Like, they just dip out and leave. But you ain't going to see them pastors having these discussions, because first off, I'll just say it, many of them's too cowardly to do the right thing. Many of them have an agenda because they don't want to lose their position of power. Because I'm like, if I bend my knee and I say, man, I was wrong, I ain't gonna be master and commander of the ship no more. I ain't gonna be Pastor Bob. I ain't gonna be Deacon Bob. I ain't gonna be Apostle Bob or Bishop Bob. I'm out. That's why I also don't do it. And thirdly, is they need them chips. Everybody's got to get them chips up. They need their dollar bills. They need them Bitcoins. They need that money. And if they ain't telling them lies, truth don't make money. Selling lies makes money. So that's why all this stuff goes on. And I'm telling you, the new kingdom, you ain't gonna deal with this, baby. It's done. It's this goose is cooked. So all these shepherds, so-called shepherds out here, I'm telling you, enjoy your tenure. It is coming to an end promptly. And I am so glad, not to sound self-righteous, but I am so glad that the things I've told people on here, you can go today, right now, as I'm speaking, Google it and check it out. Just like I told you about that pagan holiday, it's up right now. I can Google it. Check us out. Let's all do it together. Let's do it together. And then I'm going to get in the comments. Okay. So you go. Let's see how quickly we can do it. It's 12:42. All right. I'm going to hit Google. Everybody follow with me. All right. And then we're going to type in SATURNIALIA. And boom. It's still 12:42. So within under a minute, I found out what I wanted to find. Okay. And now I'm going to read it to you. So y'all go Google it too. It says this feast was held in mid-December, is an ancient Roman pagan festival honoring the agricultural God SATURN. All right. And now this was also all the traditions and stuff. This, if you want to look at it, the debauchery, licentiousness, sexual orgies, murders, atrocities, baby killing, right there. So you all go have you a happy pagan holiday. No, I'm saying that facetious, but I'm just telling you, like, see, I just brought that up. You can check that out with Flat Earth. You can check that out with Father's Looney Soul Scriptural Calendar. I put all the Carfax up for everybody today on that. Hebrew Israelites. I mean, what was the dude? Somebody help me out. What was the president in Egypt? I've shared this before. He said, y'all left black and you came back white. I can't accept you. There's a Carfax on that. Them people lived up next to him. They know what's up. And anyway, I'm done. You all spread the word to anybody out there that's in a that has a ministry. I'll gladly debate from this day forward the Father's Appointed Times, the Flat Earth, and the True Hebrew Israelites. I'll have a conversation with anybody about that, because I have concluded after all these years of service to the kingdom that those three cause the most strife and win the most souls for the kingdom in the era in which we live. And so that's a fight worth doing. All right, now let me scroll up and read the comments here. Let me see what the Dead Sea is being healed. That is awesome. Let me see what we got here. Even the word Hebrew is not even Hebrew words. Let's see what we got here, brother. I appreciate the donation again. It says, I wonder how many people accept a dark skinned black Messiah. Getting them past the BS ball earth. Yeah, man. Oh, dude. I'm telling you, you can usually get them with 2 out of 3. You hit them with the facts, and it's hard. Listen, I don't care. I'm going to be honest with you, and I'm really being legit with this when I say, I don't care if Messiah comes and he's blue. I don't care. He is bringing peace to those that believe and have been loyal and done the right thing. He's bringing peace. I don't care what color somebody's. I'm going to tell you some of the most beautiful women in the world. All right, I'm going to go left field for a second. Some of the most beautiful women in the world I have ever seen. Some of them were Asian. They were so-called black. And what is the other one? Oh, my goodness. Like Middle Eastern. I mean, bro, like, and I mean, I don't know. There's just, it's amazing to me. Like, the reason I bring some of this up too is me and the guys were talking, and we were talking about people being atheists, and I was like, if I was an atheist, the number one reason I would change teams and come to the Most High is you look at a beautiful woman and be like, that didn't happen by accident. That was divine created. All right. So there's my 2 cents on that. And let me see here. 2 wolves fighting over a bone. And the other guy, they both rejected Torah. Some crazy stuff. My best, I think I said it on the phone, but it must be somebody on here talking it up. Hey, brother, King's in the building. Peace, King. Was just talking about you, sister. Such a humble brother. Truly blessed to have a close brother such as you. Love you, dear. I love you, brother. I look forward to breaking bread with you in the kingdom. Y'all willing. You and brother Joel too. Y'all like blood to me. Let me see what we got on here. That's why. Please do. Oh yeah. Well, I'm gonna use it, sis, as long as we can. What do we got here? Let's see. Facts. Yeah. And guys, listen, I really didn't mean to go this direction on some of this stuff today. I have not produced content on here at the rate I used to because I've really felt withdrawn to engage much of anything. Like I have a whole studio right across from me to do the whole crypto mining show thing that I had planned to do. And I've just felt so unmotivated lately to just engage social media, the world. I've just wanted to sit on the couch with my family, go to work, come home, sit on the couch with my family. I don't know what the deal is with that. Um, I know I need to be working. I need to be doing the right thing. I've felt drained. Been sick a lot in the past year. Had that blood pressure thing, and dude, I took my blood pressure today. Just FYI for people that need to get their blood pressure down. Been taking those beetroot capsules from GNC, and my blood pressure today was one like 17/67 or so. It was ridiculously low, and it used to be like $1.50, $1.60 over like 90-ish or whatever. It was messed up. So I'm telling you, that's some life changing stuff, and it's dirt cheap, and it saves taking the pharmaceutical drug sorcery. So praise y'all, got that under control. But guys, I hope this stream has been enjoyable to you. I hope that you can share this with other people and encourage them that in this dark era that we live in, these are things that can give you hope to trot on through what's coming, because we are fast approaching the hour of trial, and we are fast approaching where that we're going to need every last thing we can to help hold us up and keep us headed in the right direction. So guys, I'm gonna jet out of here for the day and break bread with my family and enjoy the Shabbat. I hope you have enjoyed this, and until we see again here on the next time on the show, I hope the Most High Yah baruch you and keep you, make His face shine upon you, show you favor, and give you shalom, my friends, in Yahushua's name. Love y'all, and have a great day.